Okay, so we have the environmental settings in the shop set to sauna, so forgive me if I drip sweat all over this video. Anyways, we're here today with the Phantom, and as you can see here, the bike does look quite a bit differently than when you were last with us. We have already taken the tank off. I removed the speedometer. You can see actually the plug that goes to the speedometer right there. That's what the speedometer plugs into, and right now it's just kind of flopping around. Removed a lot of other stuff from the bike. You can see here on the side, this is actually something I'm working on for the Phantom, which is like an e-tank situation where instead of having your black plastic covers like so, you would have a tank like this that you could access very easily from the outside to hold your electronics. If you take a look up here on the inside of the bike under the seat, you can see I've done away with all the plastic bracketry, and I'm trying to hold this out of the way. You can see the fuel pump is no longer there. Made a battery box that bolts on to an existing bracket in the frameworks to hold an ice anti-gravity battery. Back here you can see I'm working on a prototype for a sissy bar for the Phantom, and the reason it's designed this way is because every sissy bar I've seen does not have a place to hook tie downs. You can't hook anything onto the sides. You're usually going under here or the fender, and it just seems hokey. Like, why didn't someone put any time into making a slot here that you could hook something into? So that's why that's there, and we'll probably cover that later. And if you look up at the front of the bike here, this area is what I kind of call my cockpit. You can see there's no controls on it right now. I've gotten rid of all turn signal stuff. High and low beam is wired to always on high. Start and kill switch have been combined into one push button. So I still have the key ignition on this bike. However, right there. However, I don't have a kill switch on this bike. I just have a push button mounted right inside the headlight. So using one of our little black push buttons, these little dudes, just push that and the bike starts. Super easy. So I've actually also installed the Malleus clutch side and throttle side grip along with the Aceris throttle assembly. Nice and snappy. Lubed up the cable there and put some new bars and risers on it for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this design or not, but it's pretty comfortable to ride at this point. So some of the things that I am still going to do here is put our AIS, our pair plates, excuse me, in place of these guys. I'm going to be finishing up the ideas for this, and I'll probably show you guys some pictures to say, hey, which design do you like better? I'll come up with 2 different versions of that, and then see which one you guys like and execute based off that. So I'm going to actually open the headlight because I think that might be kind of interesting to show you guys how I wired the switch in there. So let's take a look at that. Here we go. All right, so this is the switch. What I've done here is I've taken the green and black wire and the black and white wire to one pole and the yellow and red wire to the other pole. And that is my start switch. And you're probably wondering what to do about the blue wire that comes out of your, I don't know, starter kill switch cluster. And that's this guy right here. That gets attached to the black and red wire. And the black and red wire comes out of this. So you've got black and red. I'm trying to unthread it for you guys to see. That's the black and red wire. Right in that position right there. That's my yellow and red, black and white, black and green. All the stuff for your start and kill comes out of here. So what I've done on this is I have totally deleted the option of a kill switch just for convenience sake and because I was very excited and I just wanted to go ride the damn thing. Didn't want to have to install a whole other switch, but that's why I have both these wires going to one pole. That's what you do if you don't want to have a kill switch. If you want to have a kill switch, you just put a switch in between these 2 wires, and then from the other pole, the kill switch, run it to here. So you're just basically cutting off the connection of these 2 wires if you want a kill switch in there. So yeah, it's pretty simple to relocate the switches on these bikes. So once you unplug all the stuff in here, you're not going to really, you can just leave it inside. If you really want to tear the whole wiring harness apart, you can. But when people ask me like, what wires can I take off my bike? What's the easiest way to, chop my wiring harness? The easiest thing is to unplug the stuff you don't need. That's really it. and make sure that the things you're unplugging are supposed to be unplugged. For instance, the clutch safety switch on these bikes, which is right here, it's this little nodule. There's 2 black wires that plug in here, and that basically means you can't put the bike in gear, you can't start the bike without the clutch lever being pulled in. So if you unplug those 2 wires, you leave them unplugged, that means you can start the bike without the clutch being, disengaged. So when you pull your lever, your clutch disengages, and it spins freely. That allows you to start the bike. That's one of the safety features that Honda has. A lot of people want to get rid of that. Makes things easier. You can be riding down the road. You want to start your bike. If you don't really care if it's in gear or not, take it off. That's just one of the things that I've taken off the handlebars. All the turn signals, high-low beam, I've gotten rid of all that as well. And that's all going to be stuck up in a cluster right over here. So now, when you put everything back together, make sure you don't just jam it in there. You kind of want to tuck things aside and away from the center of the headlight and try and get it in there as nicely as possible. It's a chore, but do your best. Earlier video we removed the gas tank, which is kind of disgusting and fat, and it sticks out really wide, and just not my jam, we'll put it that way. Some people don't really care, and that's cool. It has a built-in speedometer that's built into it. It's like looks almost like a half tank bra. And you got your odometer as well and all your dummy lights. So that's all gone. This is the pigtail that's left that used to plug into the speedometer. And now you have this lovely backbone here. So what I did was I found a tank that I think would look pretty good on this thing, and I mounted it up here, drilled the holes in the backbone and tapped them for 3/8/16. And at the back of the frame here, there's a weld that kind of stuck up in the way, so I had to weld it down. Basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out a way to make a tank for you guys that you can plug into the stock system and easily install. I'm not sure if you're going to have to drill and tap a hole or not. Obviously I'm going to try and make things as easy as possible for you guys, but this is kind of what I've had to do so far just to get the tank I had to fit. I'll show you what I've done. So I'm not 100% certain if I want to do a tank this tall, or if I want something a little more drop down around the frame. But if I do make something that drops down farther over the frame, it would require you most likely cutting off these things, which are the supports for the stock tank, and that requires some fabrication. Let me know what you guys think about this tank style. If you think it looks cool, looks terrible, let me know your thoughts. I'm really interested to see what you guys want. And I mean, just because I think it's cool, great, but you guys are the ones who might be buying this stuff, so I want to hear from you. So one of the first things that I noticed about this bike that really bugged crap out of me was this whole chaos going on back here where the license plate and tail light and signals used to be. It was just hideous. So one of the first things I'm going to do is move my license plate to the side. I don't like having this thing stick out here. I think it's unsightly and just really detracts from the good looks of the bike. So I'm going to show you today how to use, I'm going to be using my tenant license plate bracket. You can actually check it out in the links if you want. But we're going to install a brand new license plate too. Pretty badass, Brutal 750. Fuck yeah. So with this license plate bracket setup, you've got 2 options. Some people want their license plate to be horizontal. Some people want it vertical. Some people are really particular about it because of legal issues, so that's going to be up to you to check out your local, maybe your dmv.gov website for whatever your state is, and that should show you what the local law enforcement is going to require for your license plate. But today I'm going to install horizontally, and what's nice about this kit is you can actually mount it on the left or right side of the bike. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is going to be on the left side of the bike. If you go the other side and you want to do the same setup, all you do is this. Switch it around. I've taken the axle nut off here, and the next thing we're going to do is slip this on. So once you have the axle mount tightened up there, you're going to grab one of the larger bolts, lock washer, and a nut. So you're going to put the bolt through, split washer on, and then the nut. Don't tighten it down yet. Take the other bolt, one of the larger bolts. Same process. Don't tighten those down yet. Now you're going to put on your light mount. So now we're going to take our taillight bracket and mount it to the license plate bracket. It's gonna go behind and it's gonna angle upward. So if you take a look from the side here, you notice how it's kind of facing up. You don't want to do this because then your taillight's just kind of shining up into the sky. You want to go like that. Take one of the larger bolts, put it through here, same process as before. So now you're going to take your license plate, take one of the short bolts, take another one, stick it on the other side, just kind of helps to hold it. Get those nuts, come around the back side. These are lock nuts, little nylock. They have nylon inserts, so they're going to tighten down real good. And same on the bottom. So now that everything's mounted up, we're going to install this fantastic LED finned taillight. And these are available on the website, shoptjbc.com, and you can actually check them out by clicking the link in the description. So I've gone ahead and extended the wiring for this bike and put a split loom over it to protect it. But this is going to bolt up really easy using these two, flopped in the middle of the camera. Use these two little bolt holes right here. And we have a set of bolts that are included with these. And that's how we'll mount it up. So when you put this on here, obviously there's no cut in this. A lot of brands will actually cut that open. I just feel like it looks better this way. It's more strong. You're going to thread your wiring through. And on the back side here, going to take these bolts and put them into the light. So let me know what you guys think about my choice for the taillight on this. I'm not married to it. I'm open to suggestions. We got a couple others on the site. If you think I should use another one, please leave a comment and give me a link to that. If you missed episode 1 for this Phantom build, please go check it out. That's the first episode where we actually talked about removal of a tank, removal of the seat. This episode, we kind of went over some of the things I've already done before filming, and then I showed you guys how I install a taillight and license plate bracket on the bike. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this build, so I really hope you guys can subscribe to the channel, follow the build. We're gonna have more episodes coming up. If you guys found any value in this video, you enjoyed it, you thought I was an idiot, whatever, hit that like button, really helps us out a lot, and definitely subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next time. Peace.